extremely well this New Year's Eve. Probably New Year's Day for some people in Australia, I'm guessing. But look, guys, this is the morning, sorry, just the afternoon after the night before. That was probably one of the worst performances I've probably ever seen. So look, get into this chat, get into this community. Today, the only thing I do ask, look, today you're going to have your opinions again, and that's absolutely fine with me. Mark Harris already in the chat, and Mark, I will come on to that as well. Get into this community. This is the best community on this platform. Really impressed last night by how conservative I think people were last night. You know, we didn't scream, we didn't shout, we just went through the game. Logan says hello. Mark, I promise I will go through that as well. So second thing to say is, look, be respectful to the community, be respectful to yourselves, be respectful to me. Otherwise, the ban hammer comes out and you will get banned. Second of all, to say, look, I'm not a dictator of this chat. It's not my way or the highway. As I say, get in with your opinions, get in with your responses today. There's plenty of things I really want to say. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. But look, we'll go through it. I want to go through what Amorin said last night or in the post-match. I have no words. But look, get in your opinions. I will read out your chats. This is why the show takes long, because I really do respect your opinion, and we can talk about this stuff. So look, let me get into the chat first. Scott says, yes, JB. Hello, Scott. So Mike Harris says, looks like Radcliffe has a bigger ego than Amorin. This isn't going to end well. Nothing to see here. Leeds next. No accountability, except in mediocre crap. You get what you pay for. And Mark, as an opening statement, I couldn't agree more. I think Mark Harris has been on this channel for a very, very long time. Probably since we started the channel. One thing I've always admired and respected about Mark Harris is that he's always been consistent. I've always been consistent in my views. Mark has always been consistent. Mark and I, we sometimes agree to disagree on certain things, but you know, I really do respect Mark's opinion. And Mark has always been the voice of reason, but the other side of the coin. And you know, Mark, I this morning after taking stock, you know, there were plenty of things I was going to put on the thumbnail. You know, lots of different things I was going to say today. But Mark, mate, I think you've probably summed it up. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And let's go through it. Logan says hello. Just sell the club to that guy for $6 billion. Hey JB says Tulip Place. Yesterday's game made me sick. Where do we start with the game yesterday? Look, we all know draw with the worst team in since Derby. Yesterday's game, look, there are going to be people, and I fully accept this, there are going to be people that are going to say, look, we are a couple of points off fourth. Stop complaining. What's the worst that can happen? Yes, we are better than last season in terms of points. I think abjectly, this is probably, again, one of the worst teams that we've ever had. And look, I wanted to go through what Amorin has said on these players. I want to go through Amorin today. Look, I am Amorin in, Amorin out. Techie Rennie says, can't wait for your visit to Ellen Road on Sunday. Thank you, Tech. Maybe should go to DCL. He's got ache. And look, Scott, you know, I've apologised to DCL as well, because you know, I was adamant I didn't want him at the start of the season. If he'd have come here, it would have been awful. So look, where do we start off? Where do we start off in this community in regards to what we've seen? Yesterday's performance, I'm going to touch on it slightly, and then we'll get into the proper stuff. Tulip Play says, I told you this year would have been good backup for Shesko on a free. Look, Tulip, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. You know, sometimes, and I will admit when I get things wrong. The only thing I'll say, Tulip, on that is, look, you can bring any striker into this side. Right now, they're not going to make an impact. Whilst I do agree with you, I think we needed to bring in an experienced guy. I don't know if right now, looking at the side, it would do any impact. But look, Tulip, I've got to hold my hands up. I do get things wrong, and in this case, I completely got that wrong. So where do we start? Yesterday was one of the worst performances I've seen. Grimsby is probably still the worst one, but yesterday was an absolute shambles. Now look, we don't scream, we don't shout on here. Probably why I don't get the views. I'm not going to put my head in my hands. My thumbnails are not going to be me with a crying face. Not going to be me jumping up and down, screaming. Niche fan says, JB, enough is enough. Amorin has to go. He said we could win. He said that we could win any game. Then he said I was going to take millions and lots of time. Sack him. And look, Niche fan this morning, I can't disagree. Where I want to go with this show today is this. Sack Amorin. Keep Amorin. Right? That is not the problem. That is not the problem here. What is the problem are these, and I've said this time and time again, are these dirty, disgusting, awful, just despicable owners who are dragging this club down. And Nish, I don't disagree with you. Sack Amorin or don't sack Amorin. I've had enough of Amorin. To the point where it doesn't matter to me. Give him time or don't give him time. My problem here is this. And this is what I'm asking to you guys now, is this. Right. If we sack him, Maradona says, I love it. If we sack him, what do we do? And I don't just mean a simple case of bringing another manager. Another manager will come into the squad, expect players, but he's going to have to work with these players. And look, I'm going to refrain from calling these players out today. I'm going to refrain from using profanities about these players today because I think it is beyond that. We all know what these players are. Disgusting performance. These players are disgusting. These players do not play for this club. They have zero idea. Amorin has zero clue. Scott says there, I'm still saying he needs backing. He needs at least 3 seasons to get his players. Asking another manager to get a different one in for them to want different players. And Scott, and this is the problem here. If you bring a decent coach into this side, and whether that's Amorin and Ancelotti, unless you back them, and this goes back to the owners, unless you back a manager, and I'm not talking now about an Amorin, I'm talking about any coach you bring into this side, unless you back them, what is the point? Amorin needs players. This is not for me about keeping him now. This is about if you bring, let's take Amorin out of this for a second. Let's call it the manager. Okay, let's take the name out. Okay, let's talk about the manager. I agree with Scott to a degree. If you don't back a manager, it doesn't matter. The manager is going to be the fall guy. It doesn't look, I feel we're being too simplistic. we're being too simplistic here. We are focusing on the manager. We're focusing on the players. And look, correctly so, because at the end of the day, those are the visual representation that we see on the pitch. We see the players. The players are the ones that people adore. The manager is the one that is responsible. Whether or not we sack this coach, it doesn't matter. Because if we do this, we're going to continue the cycle. And I'm tired of the cycle. Niche fan says, JB, I love you, but the owners aren't going anywhere. They're dug in. It's going to take 10 billion to get them out. And Niche, this is the problem. We are stuck with this toxic club. They have to go. They have to sell this club today. And until they go, Kirk says, mate, you've been watching Gold. Mate, Kirk, I haven't. Mate, I haven't, Kirk. Like, if Goldbridge is saying what I'm saying, it's because people are sick and tired. Kirk, I don't need to watch people. This is my view. And Kirk, if you've watched the channel, mate, I have my own opinions. I'm not swayed by what other people say. The reason why people are saying the same thing today is because, do you know what? That's how people think. Mate, I don't care what Mark is saying. I don't care what Adam is saying. I don't care what the Stratford Paddock is saying. This is my view and this is my opinion. I don't need to watch other channels to have an opinion. And look, if that's your limited view, if that's what you're going to bring here, bring it, mate. Because the things that I'm saying, I've been consistent from the very start of the season. Kirk, if you bother to go back, I've been saying since the start of this season, when Goldbridge and whatever else, and I've seen plenty of fucking thumbnails talking about we're finishing fourth, we're going to win the league. That is what gets spout out on there. Even yesterday, the day before, clickbait, we can go into fourth place. I've been adamant on this when many people have been saying we're going to finish fourth. I've been adamant on the fact that I think we finished between 8th and 10th because we finished 15th last season. We've got the same players. And look, I'm not blaming, for now, I'm parking the players, I'm parking the manager. The lack of ambition in this club, the fact that we still have the majority of the same players. We sold 2 players. And again, go back and watch the fucking channel. Because this is what I've and many of you have constantly been saying on this channel. We've sold 2 players. The rest of these players are on loan. We have been absolutely, as fans, being used again. This football excellence crap is a load of nonsense. The Glazers still own this club. Don't be fooled. Sir Jim has come into this club and he's a lifelong fan. Is he fuck? He's not a lifelong fan. Sir Jim is a rat. Sir Jim has been here. And again, I'm consistent on this. I've been consistent. Just go back and watch the shows. I've done fucking videos on Sir Jim. I've done videos on the Glazers. This is consistent. Until they go, we are screwed. Sir Jim, the only reason Sir Jim has pumped money into this club is because he wants to make money. He's a billionaire. If he really, truly loved this club, he would be changing these players. And we can say, oh, you know, the money's tight. We can get money into this club. It's an abject failure of this club that we've still got the majority of the same players here, and we sold to. Let it sink in. We sold 2 players. We sold a Garnacho for the fraction of a price. We sold an Anthony for a fraction of a price. Rashford, Højlund, Sancho are still our players. They've gone out on loan. And the fact that Malacia is still here. Luke Shaw is still here. Maguire is still here. We have the same players that finished 15th last season. And this football inside, we signed 3 players. We signed a striker in Shesko. Look, I'm not calling him out. I really, really like him. We didn't get our first choice. Amorin here is taking a lot of the blame for things that are not his fault. Look, we can talk about the tactics, and I just think it's too simplistic. Ineos and the Glazers have destroyed this club. The Glazers have been destroying this club to the point where our home is going to have to be knocked down because you cannot save it. What part, in my mind, you can have the manager out? I can talk about these players out. That's not going to save this club. We've been here time and time again, and I guarantee, Niche fan, look, I'm not picking on you, Niche fan, but I know you're very vocal and you're passionate. But Niche, I guarantee, Niche, if we get Xavi in, and I'm not saying that that's the player that you want. If we get Xavi in, right, Niche, I guarantee you will be one of the first people calling for his head in 18 months' time, because you cannot fix this team. It doesn't matter who the coach is. Go and get a Southgate. Go and get Sean Dyche. Go and get whoever you like. Unless you back a manager fully, nothing is going to change. We are at a loss. We make a loss. The end of year accounts screwed. Q1 results, we made a loss there. How are we going to buy players? 600 million of transfer debt. Total debt is 1.2 billion pounds. The manager and the players are irrelevant to the situation right now. Players will come and go. Coaches will come and go. And I don't care if the opinion is the Glazers are here for 30 years. I get that. But they need to go. How do we... what we should be discussing now as a fan base, what action do we take to get the Glazers out? Doesn't matter if they go and get some signings. Doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter if we go on and win a league. The problem that we've got is the moment we win a game, we are infected by this disease that is the Glazers and now Sir Jim. Because the moment we do that, the protests stop. Where are the protests? And I've said this before, I don't blame match-going fans. They pay their tickets. And it's easy for me to say this. If we don't go to games, and I say me, this is the, and again, it's easy for me to sit here and say this. Match-going fans are being treated like dirt. These players are disgusting. This manager is clueless. Ineos are fucking useless. The Glazers are disgusting. The only way the situation will change is action. Now, many of you will say, how do we take action? Right? Unless it's backed, the protests have to be backed. The protests have to be a collaboration between groups. A collaboration has to be between channels. The collaboration has to be... Channels have to put their differences aside. Channels have to put their viewing figures aside. Channels have to come together to vocally get these people out. We have to come together to get these players out. And I'm sad to say, like, Amorin is not going to get back. I think Amorin is going to be the fall guy. I don't need to say Amorin in or Amorin out. because this situation is untenable. I don't care if we beat Leeds 27-0. It doesn't matter. We are not back. The only reason we're anywhere near the top 6 is because this league is ridiculously competitive. We are too simplistic. I think our minds are changed from game to game. And again, I'm not calling this community out. There are many, many fans out there who are flip-flop. Bigger channels fuel it. The media do as well. I cannot keep hearing top 4 talk. I cannot keep hearing this top 6 talk. Look, I don't blame fans for the commitment. I don't blame fans for the love of this club. But when are we going to get a realistic view? We need to take action. Let me go through some of this. Scott says is the clickbait stands 3-4-3 to win. The Prem needs the best midfielders, the best wing backs. Never going to happen due to Ineos new wage. Look, niche, mate. It is. Look, it doesn't matter, mate. And look, I get it. But I think this goes beyond formations. This goes beyond the manager. These are these fucking horrible Glazers. These horrible Ratcliffe. And I will go more into that as well, but let's go through the comments. Kirk says the only way to get rid of the Glazers if Joe and the others. I don't disagree. Scott says his kids will take over. I'm hearing Ineos are on the verge of bankruptcy, and niche fan, they are. I reported this weeks ago. I reported this 2 weeks ago. No other channel picked it up from what I can see. We were talking about it on here. Grangemouth in Scotland is an Ineos business. Over the last 3 years, they've had funding £70 million of taxpayers' cash tax-free. They've had to take up loans and grants up to the tune of £150 million. Sir Jim, the saviour of the world, the multi-billionaire, will not even save his own company. I hope Ineos go fucking bust. I hope they go bust under that prat's nose, and he has no other option than to sell his shares in this club. He won't, but I hope that Ineos go under. Bobby says hello. Jim, not Sim, says Scott. Henry says it's your favourite cover blitz combo. Don't know what you mean by that, mate. I don't know. Nobody knows what he's talking about. Mark Harris says, I told you Amorin never qualified for the job. Ineos hiding behind Amorin. Sack him. And look, Mark, you know, mate, this is not about Amorin for me, Mark. It's beyond whether Amorin is good enough, which I'm going to be honest right now. I think Amorin, if we're looking at Amorin now, he's not good enough. I've been shying away from this for weeks. I still don't blame him for these players. But if you look at the ineptitude of the tactics yesterday, if you look at the players, it's too simplistic. As Mark says there, they're going to hide behind the manager. They're going to blame him. They're going to sack him. And he's done. This guy said Jim is a Chelsea fan. That's why he's got... See, Sir Jim is a con man. I'm getting Philip Green vibes. Businessman comes in to make profit, says Pete. Onana is on loan too. Technically, and yeah, you know, I forgot about him as well. I went Glasgow. Look, niche, mate, niche. Look, niche. I respect the opinion, but you've got to be. If It has to be expanded niche. It doesn't matter about Glasner. It doesn't matter about Arola. It doesn't matter about Pep. It doesn't matter about Klopp. None of these managers are going to make an impact on this squad. I don't care if Pep was to come in or Klopp was to come in and win the league. I want these fucking Glazers out. I want Sir Jim out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. I don't care. I don't care about these players. I've said this time and time again. I can't stand these players. Amorin, I don't like him. I don't like him. And I'm going to go through what he said after the match as well. I don't like him. He says, are you more of a zone man or a man guy? Men can go, mate, I don't care. Glasner would improve the club. Miss Life, I disagree. I fundamentally disagree. Look, you guys can have your view, and I'm not calling that your opinions. But I've got to be straight here. Glasner is not going to improve this club. Like we've been indoctrinated by this illusion that a new manager is going to come in and save this club or massively improve this club. How is Glasner going to come in and improve this side? How is Glasner going to come in and make the Glazers put in some more money? How is Glasner going to come in and make Sir Jim give money? Sir Jim thinks that we can qualify for the Champions League with this squad and with this manager. He's fucking deluded. Like, how is Glasner going to come in and work with a Luke Shaw? Luke Shaw yesterday was dog shit. I can't fucking stand Luke Shaw. I absolutely fucking despise him as a player. As a person, he's different. I'm sure he's a nice lad. I've got no problem with him. But as a player, you can separate out player and the person. In his position, as what he does on the pitch, I fucking despise it. I cannot stand Luke Shaw as a player. Bruno Fernandes as a captain, I fucking can't stand him as a captain. I despise him as a captain. As a player and for what he's done for the club, fine. I've got no issue. And again, I'm sure he's a really, really nice guy. But these players, time after time, Casemiro's getting paid 300k. What was that? Glasner is not going to come in and fix this club unless Glasner gets his players. And Glasner's not going to get his players. Glasner's not going to fix the Glazers. How is Glasner going to fix Old Trafford? Is Glasner going to come in with a team of builders and fix the leaking roof? Is he going to come in with a team of builders to fix the toilets? Is he going to come in with £10 billion to get rid of the Glazers? How is Glasner going to improve this club? David says, hi, Nish fan JB, I agree with the owners have to go. We have to do what supporters did to Wednesday and board. I agree. Agree, Nish. I do agree. You hate the Glazers even though Ineos. You hate the Glazers even though Ineos. Look, I despise Ineos. I'm not separating out Ineos here. I can't stand Ineos. I despise them. I despise the Glazers. I despise Sir Jim. I despise Ineos. They've come in, they've stuck their fucking nose into something that is nothing to do with them. It is a vanity project. Sir Jim is used. Let's be clear. Sir Jim has been brought in because he's using his connections to get this stadium built. There are going to be 13,000 new homes built. Do you know how much money that will bring in? A stadium, the retail, the stadium. This is why Sir Jim has come into this club, because he's using his backing to get this over the line. I've said this time and time again. If you look at Sir Jim's MO, the Glazers have never put a penny into this club, and people keep saying that the Glazers have spent money. It's not their fucking money. The Glazers have wasted our money. And Sir Jim has come in to prop them up. Not even financially, to be a figurehead for them. He's basically spent £1.5 billion because he knows he's going to make 6. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has come in, stuck his nose into this club when we had an opportunity to sell this club. The Glazers don't give a fuck. The Glazers are in Miami. The Glazers don't care about you, don't care about me. They are the sort of people that would sell their grand for £1. You could stand there and you could punch them in the face, scream at them. They will stand there with their blank, fucking, ugly fucking faces and they won't blink. They won't blink. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about this fan base. They don't care about this club. All they care about is money. And Sir Jim is exactly the same. INEOS, I hope they go fucking under. And Radcliffe needs to go. This is Nice. You guys, I'm not saying you all, people were warned. There were people talking about how Sir Jim was going to be the saviour of this club. People bought it. There was the rhetoric from people that Sir Jim, it's a pathway to buy the club. Where is the pathway? Sir Jim has got no intention of buying the club. And yes, he put some money into to make the training ground better. But he's just repairing his asset. This is what people don't get. He's repairing his asset. Because you're allowed, it is a tax break. You know, I think the problem here is that, and look, I'm not calling anybody out here, but it's all there. You know, the problem is that, you know, people are very passionate about this club. It's always as it should be. It's not the job of the fans to investigate the financial side. United should be absolutely financially secure. It shouldn't be fans' intention to forensically examine United's accounts. That's not our job. Our job is to be fans, to enjoy the football and be competitive. But the fact that fans are, look, I implore you, go out there and investigate the club more. Look at the financials. Don't be spun by this club. If you look at there's a reason why we're not going to sign players. There's a reason why Sir Jim thinks that we can win or we can get into the Champions League. It's because he has no idea. He doesn't want to spend money. There is no money. Henry says, I think the middle linebacker is a darn position. More complex and interesting football. United fans haven't done anything to get that. And Grace, you're right, mate. Grace, you're right. The 1958 wanted to protest, and I backed them completely. The response from the club was to buy a striker. They died down. It completely died down. And Grace, you are right. No other club in our position, Wolves, Liverpool, Chelsea, there is no other club that would put up with this shit. We're like somebody who is so just, who gets beaten, and we're just so battle worn that we just put up with it because we know or we think it's not going to change. Berner says the club might be in a shit position, but its fan content creators are making a good bank. Berner, you're wrong, mate. Berner, you're wrong. This channel makes zero money. This channel, this is my hobby. I have a full-time job. This channel, this channel doesn't do clickbait. I don't jump up and down for clicks. This channel makes no cash. I agree with you. There are channels that are out there, but there are a lot of channels who do this because they genuinely love the club. There are some absolute fantastic channels. And the ironic thing here is a lot of the good channels out there are small, because the clickbait ones, the bigger ones, and you're right, those guys make good bank because they are the ones who feed this shit. The club has been rotten to the. It's not football club anymore. It's a business. And Burner, you're right. Look, this club is now a business, right? It's brand, it's business, it's brand, and it's become even more of a business since INEOS have come into this club. Tara says hi, hello Tara, and the fact that even after so many awful performances, they make billions in revenue shows the club at Burn. They look, they don't make billions, right? Burner, look, I understand what you're saying there, but we don't make billions of pounds. We make hundreds of millions of pounds. We made 640 million pounds. We don't make billions of pounds. We've made billions of pounds, but at the moment we don't. That's why he had to sell his part ownership to F1. What happened to the takeover news? And John, mate, John, it's died down, my friend. It's look, it is died down because these scum owners want, probably it's going to cost them 8 to 10 billion pounds to take over this club. These greedy, fucking disgusting, horrible people. And look, what they've done to this club is a crime. And when we're talking about an historical club, it's a crime. It's an absolute crime. There is no talk of it because they don't want to sell. People don't want to pay 10 billion pounds for something that is dog shit. You know, we owe 1.2 or 1.3 billions of pounds of debt. Who wants to buy a club? Because you're going to have to buy the debt. Who wants to buy a club who has this shit team, who has a stadium that is rotting? It will have to be somebody who loves this club. Who? Niche fan says, do you know what I might actually give up? What's the point whilst we don't have owners big enough to fund the biggest club in the world? And look, Niche, it's probably one of the worst things that you could do right now. This club, look, this club, I'm going to say this club, us as fans need to stay together. If we quit now, the Glazers win. If we quit now, the Glazers win. Because if we quit now, they get away with it. More than ever, we have to be together. More than ever, we have to come together as fans. You know, look, there is not everybody that's going to agree with me. It's not everybody that's going to agree with what people say. But I think the majority of the fan base want these scumbags out. Someone says a draw is like a defeat. Sorry, but it's a great end to the year. Bernard says, how are you fans still expecting some manager will come in on this situation? Give 2 more seasons. This club is middle table now. There's no culture of winning. It's quite apparent. And look, if you've listened to me today, if you listened to me in the past, there is no manager, and I question this every single time somebody says to me, get the manager out. Who comes in to fix this mess? There is no manager who comes into this squad, into this club, and fixes this mess. Sack Amorin. Don't sack Amorin. Bring in a Southgate. Bring in who you like. There is nobody going to come in. And again, we can blame the players, but look, these players are a mishmash of players. Who's going to come in and fix this mess? Burn says, of course, because the problem isn't the manager, it's the owners. They are finance bro, asset strip. Burner, mate. Look, I'm agreeing with you, mate. I don't disagree with you. They're not asset stripping the club. I disagree with that statement. They're not asset stripping the club. They are milking the club dry. They are looking. What they're doing is they're looking to build upon the asset. Look, they're not stripping the asset down. Right? Disagree with that statement. That's probably the wrong financial instrument to look at. Right? They're not stripping it down. What they're doing is they're trying to maximize the asset by using the asset to basically fund the next asset, to fund the next project. The next asset of this club is going to be regeneration. They're going to use the brand, they're going to use the stadium, the collateral, the name to build homes. They're going to build 13,000 homes. They're going to build 13,000 homes. Do you know how much money that is? That is a ridiculous amount of money. They're going to use the brand, which the brand is the asset. They're going to use it to build a stadium. They're going to use it to fund. So then the asset gets bigger. They've renovated part of the asset. They've regenerated Carrington. So they're not asset stripping. They're fundamentally doing the different. They are trying to maximize the asset by getting other people to fund it. Bo says the Glazers out, and I'm from bitter rivals, City, but I feel for you guys. Look, Burner, mate. Steve says, totally agree with you. Your club is getting ruined by your owners. It's 100% the owners. They need to sell the club. We end up much worse. Even City fans feel sorry for us. Bring in star players on bloated wages and prices. Of course, I feel sad because good clubs play better football. It's no fun to see you're rather getting battered by relegation clubs. But what your club is experiencing is classic situation of every American industrial company that went through 80s and 90s, captured by big venture finance, given big promises and signed big names. Burner, Your Burner, mate. You're putting in some cracking stuff today, mate. You are putting in some cracking comments, Burner. We've been saddled with debt. Now you are burdened with debt. So results won't come in. Rats will jump off the ship. We have players can't even do the basic things on the pitch. Assets will be stripped. I don't agree with that term, Burner. I don't agree with that because they're not asset stripping the club. They're trying to use the asset to make even more money because that debt, you can argue that debt will be that if the Glazers pull out and there's no one else to buy the club, the Glazers can walk away from this club scot-free with what £1.2 billion of debt, and basically the bank will foreclose. John Ryan says United are beyond saving unless the Glazers and INEOS leave. Yeah, but they won't unless they get a bigger full to purchase. A while ago, Qatar Prince was interesting but got blocked by the government because they lost their marbles, or maybe Zionists were too spooked to lose control. Looks like they are tussling in Paris. All big clubs have a business side to them. We had years of wrong thing being done and we're simply paying for it now. Fire everyone already. Glazers could have sold, but they are leeches that will try to drain us dry. Yes, biscuits. Yeah, okay. It's actually 11 billion. It's actually 11 billion with debt. And the Glazers have destroyed United. These clowns must leave. Was INEOS here in 2013? It's only the Glazers, not Amorin or INEOS. Pizza, disagree, Pizza. And I'll tell you why I disagree. is this. When you've got people who poke in their nose, and Ineos came in to this club, looked at the accounts, did a strategic review. At that point, if you then go into business with these Glazers, you are culpable, because you are helping prop up the very, very scumbags who have destroyed this club. Ineos and the Glazers, I don't care, Peter, about whether Ineos were here in 2013. The Glazers were here before that. It is the Glazers and Sir Jim. Sir Jim did not have to come into this club and poke his fucking nose into something that's nothing to do with him. Now the Ineos and the Glazers are culpable together. If Ineos were allowed to buy the full thing or majority interest, I guarantee we'd be back way quicker. They know how to make good business. Alvin, you're wrong. Alvin, you're wrong. Look, that's your view. Ineos, I did a video, right, on why Sir Jim cannot buy the club. Go and watch it. Ineos and Sir Jim cannot afford to buy the club. It's going to cost £10 billion. Ineos are going bust. Ineos are £18 billion in debt. Ineos are under an order whereby they can't spend. Ineos are screwed. Sir Jim on paper is £20 billion. It's not £20 billion in cash. This is an asset. Is Sir Jim going to liquidate £10 billion of his wealth to buy this club? No, he's not. Sir Jim and Ineos cannot afford to buy the club. If they did, they would have bought the club now. They can't afford it. There is no pathway. Sir Jim is not interested in buying this club. All Sir Jim is interested in is making money. Sir Jim is a front man for a racket. Sir Jim is the front man because he's using his connections to give the Glazers what they want. There is no pathway. Ineos cannot afford to buy the thing. Sir Jim cannot afford to buy it. Sir Jim is not going to liquidate half of his fortune to buy this club. It's just not going. It doesn't make sense. And not only that, but then he has to then prop up the club. He then has to pay for the club and continue to buy players. Sir Jim is not going to do that. Ten Hag will return. United is a business, not a football club. Ineos has destroyed Nice. Halyup says, I don't want Qatar there equally as disgusting. Look, it's in an ideal world, what I want to happen is I would love fans to have the controlling stake in this club. It's not going to happen, right? Do I want Qatar to own the club? Do I want Saudi to own the club? Not really. But look, if something doesn't happen, we will fold. If something doesn't happen, we will fold. Because we cannot sustain this debt. We cannot look, if we don't win, nobody's going to want to come to us. The brand will die. The brand will end because nobody's going to support us. Within the next 10 years, I guarantee you that the revenue will drop because new fans will move away from the club. New fans will support City, Arsenal, PSG. We will lose revenue. Nikki T says, we knew we were going to find it difficult to win matches with AFCON and injuries. Look, Nikki T, I don't buy it. Nikki T, we cannot blame AFCON. We cannot blame injuries, and I shall tell you for why. We've been playing shit all season. This is not because the AFCON is here. We've been playing crap, even with Bruno Fernandes. Newcastle, we were awful. Aston Villa, these players were here. Grimsby, these players were here. Everton, these players were here. Bournemouth, these players were here. West Ham, these players were here. Fulham, these players were here. There was this blame game that we have. These players, our players have only been gone for 2 games. It's nothing to do with AFCON. These, again, you were being fed this rhetoric and this nonsense. It's nothing to do with AFCON. These players have been the same all season. This is not new. Grimsby was still the worst game, and all of these players were here and fit. This is nothing to do with the AFCON. Bruno Fernandes wouldn't have made a difference. And I'm going to go on to what Rúben says as well, because it's total bollocks. Jones says, I get the sentiment that the owners need to leave, and I agree with it. New owners would probably already got rid of Amorin as well. Yeah. I'm saying that in the 12 years, the club has worsened, and the same on the pitch. I've been saying this for several months. Sack the Glazers and Amorin. Who's saying I've been saying this for 20 years, mate. The fans could buy out the owners. It's not as simple as that. But yeah, Pete says, were you agreeing with Qatari to take over? Yeah, I was, Pete. Yeah, Pete, I was. Mate, I'm not going to lie. I was, mate, because we need to get the Glazers out. You know, look, we are in a mess here. There is no guarantee that Qatar would be better. There's no guarantee that Saudis would be better. There's no guarantee that anybody would be better to run this club. I want the debt gone. Once that debt is gone and the stadium is built or fixed, then maybe we can do something different as a club. But I wanted a way out of the Glazers, and if it means a full sale and Qatar come in, look, I'm not going to lie, I would take it. Pete, yes, Qatar would have been better. I'm still Qatar in. Wonky Donkey says, I worked for a club in different sport and spent 8 weeks at United, shadowing some of the off-field team, and I agree with you. United needs new fans in the summer. Yeah. Look, last night, all I'm going to say is this: don't blame the fucking fans, mate. Don't blame the fans. There are many things that I will tolerate on this channel. I will not tolerate fans being blamed. How dare you even mention the fans? The fans are the lifeblood of this club. The fans support here. There is nothing the fans have done wrong. So if you're going to continue to spout that, piss off. Jimmy C says, look, Jimmy, mate, I appreciate, look, thank you, Jimmy, for the super chat, my friend. I absolutely appreciate it. And I will always say this, it blows my mind people support the channel, mate. And I genuinely cannot thank you enough, Jimmy. So look, Jimmy, thank you, my friend, for supporting the club. Jimmy says, players aren't good enough and the manager's too weak for not punishing the players when they do appallingly. Here's a friend and not a boss. Jimmy, mate, I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. That's one thing that I said last night is this. I was embarrassed by the press conference that he gave. Amorin was literally gushing over Fernandes. Gushing. He is their friend, not a manager. I want a manager who is above the players. I don't care if Fernandes walks around talking to people. I don't care if Fernandes stays behind like a teacher's pet. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that a manager gushes over these players. He's prepared to call out the young players. He's not prepared to call out the senior teams. Your captain's been dog shit all season, but all you want to do is gush and be friends. Not for me. Never were true fans then, to be fair. Pizza, mate. AFCON, the reason we and Jimmy, mate, It's true. It's true. Yeah. Look, mate, you're getting banned because you're a prick. I've got fucking no time. Charlie says Fernandez has not been good this year. Pizza what? Exactly. James Shine says banter FC. Hussein says, who's the idiot asking if we want Saudi to own the club? Absolutely yes. And who are you? Ask the questions. You're not a fan. If you jump ship because your team is in turmoil, you are not a true fan. Who's jumping ship? Nobody is jumping ship. I don't understand where that comes from. Nobody is jumping ship. Milton says hi. Hello, Milton. Julian says hi. He said new fans will support other clubs. Exactly. God save the king. Never's coming to United. Don't think so, mate. I'm not saying you are wrong, pal, but I'm not sure owners are the issues. Dog Knight. Look at the Liverpool fans give FSG. I think sometimes you have to stumble across a manager who gets your club. Dog Knight, look, mate, I respect the opinion. Look, I'm not gonna call it out, my friend. I get it, but how can it not be the owners? We're in 1.2 billion pounds of, and look, I'm gonna give you the facts, and look, I'm not gonna disrespect the opinion. If you like the Glazers, fine. If you don't like the Glazers, the only thing I will not tolerate on this channel is blaming fans. So look, you can be INEOS in, out, whatever, no issue with that as well. The only thing I will not tolerate on this channel is blaming us fans, right? Dark Knight, the facts are this: the Glazers have never put a penny of their own money into the club. They bought us on debt. They've never paid off the debt. They've taken dividends out of the club. We've now 1.3 billion pounds of debt. 600 million pounds of that is on owed on players. This team is abjectly awful. This team finished 15th last season. The majority of the players are still here. We've sacked manager after manager after manager. All I'm asking you is what manager is going to come into this club and fix the club? Is a manager going to come in and fix the stadium? Is the manager going to come in and pay 1.2 billion pounds of debt? What is the manager going to do? That's all I'm asking. Milton says the fans turned up, and look, the fans did. I've got so much respect for fans, right? Fans are fans are fans. This is why I will die on my hill and defend fans. I will defend you guys because there is absolutely no way us fans are to blame, right? I will defend this fan base. I will defend fans. I will. A fan is a fan is a fan, but match-going fans, the match-going fans who pay their money, we pay our subscriptions, who go to the games, we pay. This country gets taxed to shit. We're in a situation right now where this country is going down the shithole. People go, and the one thing they've got in their life is going to, and whether or not people think it's sad, people don't understand football. I've been supporting this club since I was 4, since 1988, right? And since 1987 actually. So I've been supporting this club since I was 4 years old. It's part of me. It's part of me. Every Saturday, buying magazines, buying the shirts. It is part of who I am. People don't understand it, and I'm not expecting you to, right? But to blame the fans, these fans who turn up game, like after game, pay their money, and you've got people on that pitch that get paid 300k a week. A manager is clueless. A stadium, your home, our home, has been totally neglected. Our home leaks. Our home is awful, and that is what we've got now. It's awful. Daniel says, "What's the beef with Ineos? They've done more already than the Glazers." Daniel, mate, that's your view, Daniel. I disagree completely. Disagree completely. For the reasons I've already said, Daniel. Look, mate, I respect the opinion. I'm not calling out the view. That's your view. I disagree. Jimmy C says, haha, I'm glad I turned into this. You're speaking my language. Thanks, mate. Supporting United since 1986 when we had standards, the play that plays for the badge. This club isn't the club I loved. This is all on the bloody Glazers. Each fan says, Troy Watson, smash the likes, guys. Hussein says, jumping ship. I have supported this club since 1971. Look, Hussein, legend, my friend. If the owners, eight managers we've had post Sir Alex, they can't all be wrong. Just says United fans would have definitely taken sixth at the start of the season at this point. So yes, the fans are part of the problem. They've had overnight success. Can you hear me? Is it still on mute? I don't know. Oh, fuck's sake. What is it? Perfect. Apologies. I don't know what happened there. Absolutely ridiculous. Fucking YouTube. Yeah. So thank you. Let me go back over the over this stuff. I was talking to myself. Yes, let's have a look. Jimmy, thank you, my friend. Appreciate the money, my friend. Honestly, hot tub party. Twat. Yeah. I'm back. Amish says, "Yeah, what's up, lads? Right, let's start from the beginning. So the Glazers are just trying to sabotage the stream. They are. They've tried to block me, because they're absolutely scummy shit. They are. The Glazers are just wankers. Right. So look, I wanted to get on to, and guys, keep getting in your comments. I'm gonna read them out. I wanted to get on to the post-match conference, right? Kevin says, I'm surprised you didn't blame Amorin for losing sound. Can't be the fans' fault. It's not, Calvin. It is not the fans' fault. But look, we don't mind the banter. Kevin, brilliant, mate. So look, let's get on to the press, the post-match, right? Because it's embarrassing. I don't know if you watched the post-match, but I'm going. Oh yeah, Simon says a happy new year, and a happy new year to you guys as well. And of course, I will sign it off in a bit. So let's go through the press conference today. Let's just say, so he starts off. This is Amorin. Well, I mean, it's a new year for people, but yeah, it's fine. Amorin says, we play the way we play today. Amish says, I don't think post-match presser provides any clarity. If the gaffer doesn't know his formation, then it's not going to work. Have I missed a day? Look, I'm going to read the press conference out because look, I think that this is important stuff. So he says, we play the way we play today. The lack of fluidity, lack of one against one. We knew it would be a completely different game compared to the Newcastle game because Newcastle, we have more space to play. We didn't have the way we didn't have to work and play so much today. Amorin, if you knew the way that Wolves were going to play, why did you not do something about it? And Jimmy, I agree with you. As Amorin says that we knew it was going to be a different game today. Well, if you knew, why didn't you do something about it? Like this is what puzzles me. If you knew how they were going to play, do something about it. I don't get it. Do something about it. We have difficulties in that aspect. That is clear. Appreciate different games, but could just say explain the tactical tweaks. You know, moving back to the left and going back with the trigger. He also said we knew they were going to play with a back five. If you knew they were going to play with a back five, and this goes back to the tactics. This goes back to what everybody is saying here. Amorin has no idea how to play the system. He has zero idea. He's saying that he knew. Why can't you tweak your tactics to counteract Wolves? Wolves have got Wolves had 2 points. Wolves have now got 3 points because of your tactical inability. It was then he then said they'll put it to use in the week, and today was just to do that, and then sometimes building up with him or open up or whatever he said there, and then he just said today we try to arrange the right situations for the situations we have in the moment. Amorin keeps talking about fucking moments. FC. Stop talking about fucking moments, Amorin. Like this is an entire game. Amorin is a moments coach. He just absolutely just has no idea. And Liam, you're right. He's concerned about this. Is what Amorin doesn't get. Amorin is not a United coach. Running scared of Wolves and trying to manipulate a game plan to play against Wolves at home. You shouldn't give a shit what Wolves are doing. Wolves should come here and be scared. I don't care if Wolves are going to play a back six, a back 10. You play your game. And the fact that, and you're right, he's concerned about Wolves says everything that you need to know. It was then asked, Rúben, sorry, you said a lot. You know that the team is not the finished team, but is this tonight an example? You need to be more creative in your squad. There was a lack of creativity, and it feels like there were some players within your squad that cannot give you what you need. It says, I think we're in one situation that you have a lot of players out at the same time. When you play Casemiro and Dorgu in the middle, it is different. If you don't have a Bruno, that is normal. So we need to recover our players. The players from AFCON to return, and then the fluidity is going to be different. These players haven't been to fucking AFCON the whole season. These players have missed 2 or 3 games. Grimsby, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham. These players were here, Amorin. Bruno Fernandes has been here all season. Bruno Fernandes has been crap for 18 months. These players have been here. Forest, Spurs, Grimsby, Everton, Fulham. These players have been here. It's got nothing to do with the AFCON. I don't use that as an excuse. We've been shit all season. These players have not had an impact on this team. It doesn't matter. These players have been exactly the same all season. So blaming the AFCON, Amorin, shut the fuck up. Because it's nothing to do with the AFCON. It's nothing to do with it. These players have been shit all season. If these players had have been better and had won games, fine. I've got no issue. These players have been shit all season. Amorin covering and using the AFCON is fucking pathetic. He says, again, we won the last one today. We could win. The players that we have lack of fluidity and the lack of quality, the lack of creation of chances, and then we suffer a goal with a set piece. It just infuriates me. You have a lack of fluidity and quality when the first team is here. I don't get. I said against the Geordies, this performance was shit. Look at the second half against the Geordies. Look at the second half, Amorin. They battered us. You look at Aston Villa, Everton, West Ham, Forest. You had your first team. Where was the where were these moments of brilliance? Amorin keeps saying that we can beat anybody on our day. Piss off, Amorin. You can't. You are fucking deluded. I'm just gonna skip a bit out here because it's just pretty much more of the same shit. Amorin says here, we need to do with the game what was asked of him. We were struggling. We put a lot of men in the middle of the park, and we managed to do that with Jack. Amorin then says, I think we recovered the ball faster in the second half. Amorin, mate, please, mate. Amorin, we were shit in the second half. What are you talking? I don't understand. I think Amorin is a stats manager. Amorin is a computer guy. Amorin is a manager who is a stats guy, and it's becoming clearer and clearer. If Amorin thinks that we recovered the ball better in the second half, what game were you watching, you fucking idiot? What game did you watch? He then said, in the first half, we struggled a bit. He then said, in the first half, we struggled a little bit to recover the ball. So I'm not just looking at the rating experience. In this moment, I look at what they can do to win a game. We struggled a little bit in the first half. Amorin, what are you talking about? We struggled the whole game. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Now, this is the bit for me that it just says it all. He was asked, so how do you think things are going to change into the new year? And how confident are you that those small things that are costing you can change? Amorin says, I'm really confident. We just need to recover all the players, and I'm really confident. I don't know what is going to happen to the end of the season. Then we will make the resume of the season. But I'm really confident we can recover all the players, and we're going to be a strong team. Thereby, there are no doubts in my mind. I know I have to check. I'm not going to risk any players. Amorin is really confident. We just need to recover all players. I'm really confident. I just don't know what is going to happen. Amorin, fuck off, mate. You are really confident. Amorin is confident that when he gets his players back, they're going to be a really strong team. What are you fucking talking about, Rúben? You've had one game a week since the start of the season. You've had one game a week since the start of the season. One game a week. We've been crap all season. What is your excuse? You've had your players the whole season. One game a week. What are you talking about, Amin? You're confident that we're going to be a better team. How are we going to be a better team? Like, it baffles me. That presser at the end was fucking laughable. He's gushing over Fernandez, and he's then confident, and he keeps talking about these moments. We suffered a little bit into the first half. We recovered the ball better and quicker in the second half against Wolves. He's more confident that when we get these players back, we're going to be a strong team. Amorin, fuck off. Like, mate, you are burning bridges. There are people like me who have supported you through thick and thin. I've supported you through Grimsby. I supported you through Everton. I've supported you through all of these games, and you're coming out, and I feel you are kicking your supporters in the face. Amorin, you've got to be honest. These protected conferences, what are you talking about? How have we been fluid? We were shit in the second half. The only reason we beat the Geordies is because they can't finish. We have been abjectly shit all season. We have had our players all season. How are we going to be a stronger team? Even when they come back, what are they going to do? I'm baffled. You know, look, I am, and look, Jimmy, I don't disagree. You know, I am right now. It doesn't matter for me if I'm Amorin in or out, because nothing is going to fix the situation, right? I don't care. For the very first time, I don't care if Amorin is here or not. I don't care. Give him time. Don't look. If INEOS back him, he's got a chance. I still want INEOS out. the Glazers out. There is nothing. This is rotten from top to bottom. Amorin is now just talking out of his ass. Amorin is clearly looking at stats. How Amorin can look at that game and think anything other than his team is shit and his tactics are shit. It scares me. Amorin is not a United coach. The same as Bruno Fernandes is not a captain. Amorin is not a first team coach in this club. You cannot be friends with your players. Amorin is too much of their friend. And it is a total mess from back to front. Let's go through some of these chats. Let's go through some of these chats, guys. So Jimmy says 2 points in 18 games, could have played the reserves, full attack and beat them. He's the most defensive manager I've seen. We missed so many chances. We could have gone fourth above the Scousers. Amorin probs told what to say by Ineos in the press conference. Imagine if he didn't know how Wolves would play, we would have been battered 5-0. Probs we had no one clinical to really score a goal. We don't have a proven striker. Liam says Amorin's comments suggested that he was too concerned about how Wolves were going to set up rather than how we would break them down. He would have been better off admitting that he got it completely wrong. Jimmy says 100% Liam. The Primot says the crap that flies out of Amorin's mouth at pressers, I swear. I felt in the match last night we're like Wolves not having a proper goal scorer. It's like, let's hope one of the squad scores. Rúben thinks he's beaten Pep once. He will behave like him. Experimenting with tactics and overthinking is not a cup of tea. Couldn't beat Wolves with the reserves. Sorry, could beat Wolves with the reserves. Excuses, Amorin. The way Mbeumo played last month, he might as well stay in Africa. Amorin wanted to go 4-3-3. If we can't beat a side destined for the championship, then what good are we? So it's a mentality problem. The way we played last night, Accrington Stanley would have beaten us. I don't get how we beat the Geordies without these players missing, and we can't beat Wolves with the same set of players. The Premier says, I'm sorry, but we aren't signing Barca, Bayern, Madrid, City all combined. Exactly. Accrington Stanley reserves more like. The Premier is a bargain. The Saudi should sell Newcastle, buy us and install CR7 as the manager. Jimmy, mate, you're busting it out, mate. Main problem is his obsession with trying to defend 1-goal leads when we cannot keep clean sheets. Go and score more than them. Rúben, look, Jimmy, mate, absolute legend, my friend. Thank you so much. Super chats today, mate. You've been an absolute legend, and I really do appreciate it, my friend. Absolute legend. The Premier says we have players to reach top 6. We don't have the manager to get top 6. I disagree, mate. I disagree, but look, I respect the opinion. I disagree. We don't have the players or the manager. In the wins we do have this season, we have struggled to get over the line in all of them, bar Sunderland at home. That was the only game we've controlled this season. I really hope and pray that we don't have Amorin next season. Everyone says all the players are shite. Some are, but it's not FNX box. You can't replace all 40 players. It's true. And these fans says, I'm beginning to think Amorin is AI. Wolves were the better side. I do agree. Recovered, he might be right, but we never kept it. Tackle, recover. The ball is lost to tackle again. Rúben won't allow the players any freedom. Stubborn, lacks the bravery and nuance. Tell me here the other side of Amorin's record. 14 wins in 45 Premier League matches. Any other club will get sacked. Last night was the taste of if we were in Europe. 4 games rest and the players were jogging. True, 1 game a week is plenty of time to recover and train. We have more hope than Bob Hope. I'm trying to improve. He's incompetent, not confident. Last night I went from Amorin into Amorin out. Usman says, everyone keeps talking about the board and understand the long term, but Sheikh bought United in the summer. The manager and the players in the main would be the same, if not similar. No. Simon says, we take 2 steps forward and 5 steps back. Simon, I won't vocally be him out, because like the previous 500 times, a new manager won't fix it, but I no longer fucking like him. I agree with that. We're spent 4 sides, 8th is the new normal. I prefer a different manager, but no clue who to bring in. All I know is Amorin is not a United manager. We have been trying to shift the Glazers for a while. They just won't budge. How did we draw to Wolves? Liam says, if Ineos really mean business, they will have a midfielder in before the game on Sunday. All United need is a Middle Eastern sugar daddy. The best solution is we get regenerated and higher up and stop destroying the club. We need good young players. I actually went an AI manager. Let's save more money. We no longer the dominant force in football, more like carry on for us. Poor United Strand, he's not going to get his hair cut. The United Strand is loving our downfall. Everything is data driven by Ineos. Why not just use AI on the sideline, like a Xiaomi bot with a smiley face barking orders? In a few years, we're going to face second division teams. The Amorin appointment was based on seeing another young manager take over a big club like Arsenal, bringing huge progress and building an exceptional squad. The reality is far off Arsenal. Ryan says, gutted about last night. My optimism about a race for top 4 is nearly gone. We have lost the killer instinct to finish off teams. Happy New Year for tomorrow. Milton says, I feel Shesko could be so much better with service. He did get a header in, which hit the post, and then the shot which Dorgu put to be offside. I also felt last night the players were flat, but they're not turning up. We have good players, but they aren't having chemistry, in my opinion. We should use the youth and see. We missed so many chances last night. I love Amorin. He will make things right to give him time. It is, but all the managers we have shit players all over the hill. Ryan says, also Ineos will not be going anywhere. They have the stadium. Also, they have a lot of land in Manchester and are developing, so they are interested in money. Ryan, I agree with you. I think Manu is really injured or being exiled. I don't know. I think he's done. I don't know, mate. I think it's fast. So look, guys. On that note, I am going to go. Someone says Mendorgu put the ball in the net. I was happy, but my chin dropped when it was ruled offside. Look, guys, I'm going to go. Absolutely fantastic show. Super chats wise, look, Jimmy, mate, absolute legend. Thank you, mate, absolute legend. Look, guys, you were all legends. Today's chat, fantastic. Look, I love the different opinions, right? The only thing I will not tolerate on this channel is comments against the fans, blaming the fans. I don't mind the banter. Palace legend, says JB. Look, you guys are I love it. Look, mate, I'm. It blows my mind that you guys give me the time of day. This channel is nothing without you guys, and this show today has been fantastic. I love the fact that we've all got our opinions. It's a very fraught day. It's a very interesting day. No swearing from you. Look, I apologise for the language, but you know, at times, apologies, Tam. But look, we as fans will endure. I think as fans, we need to come together. It's okay to debate it out. You know, those of you who are Amorin in, Amorin out, welcome onto the channel. It doesn't matter. It all feeds into the debate. So look, guys, like all I can say is thank you. The end of 2025 for me this year on this channel has been fantastic. You know, I never expected for this channel to be any sort of numbers. It is just unreal. So look, guys, thank you to everybody. Some of you who are not here now, like Scott, Dino, etc., who are not here right now. This is the last show of 2025. I'm not going to be back tonight. And exactly, if you're Amorin, it doesn't mean that you hate the club. It's got nothing to do with that. But look, last show of 2025, this has been a fantastic show. I think to end the year with, from me, from a personal note, fantastic show. Circumstances are not great, but look, it has been amazing to interact with you guys. Makes my day. And look, from a personal note, guys, thank you. Thank you for being here. You are legends of the chat. I may or may not be back tomorrow. Jimmy, you're right. I'm going to go and have a drink tonight. Celebrate it in style. Look, let's hope 2026 can be a different year. If not, I'm still going to be here. You guys are still going to be here. And look, thank you so much for the chat today and the support. And look, all that's left to say is a happy new year. You know, guys, hope you have a fantastic time tonight. Happy New Year to you and your families, whatever you do tonight. Absolutely. So look, guys, a happy New Year, healthy 2026. I'm JB. This is the United Devil channel, and I'll be back with you in 2026. So, guys, on that note, legends, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care.